Hey guys, Quinn of Snazzy Labs here. This is another vlog in 60 frames per second. And this one will actually probably be better because there's going to be a little bit more motion in this one. That, my friends, is a Pioneer LaserDisc player. It's the model LD-V8000. This was a very, very common model. It's an industrial LaserDisc player. It's not a consumer LaserDisc player. It was used in schools and for government use back in the early 90s. This specific model actually almost predates me. I've got it beat by a couple months. It was manufactured in August of 1993. I was born in April of 93. So we're about the same age, but 25 years later and this thing still works like a champ. It's amazing technology that was old. It was just so robust and it never broke. I mean, stuff, I know I sound like an old person when I say like, oh, they don't make stuff like they used to, but they really don't. I mean, this thing weighs 30 pounds. It's incredibly heavy. But very, very robust, and it works great 25 years later. Even, you know, the original Blu-ray player we bought back in 2007, that doesn't work anymore. It was like a $400 player. Now, these, when they came out, were over $1,000. I think they were $1,500. Now you could get them pretty cheap because, like I said, they were pretty popularized by schools and government institutions. So they're about $60 on eBay. I picked mine up locally for $40, $35 actually. And so I got a pretty good deal on it. But I just want to show you kind of the quality. I plan to make a real video, and let me know in the comments down below if you'd be interested in that, but a real video on LaserDisc and its history, because I find it fascinating. It's one of the most interesting mediums. It was way, way, way ahead of its time when it came out in the early 70s with, you know, a lot of the features that DVD offered decades later, like being able to skip forward in chapters, not having to rewind. The problem was the discs themselves were huge. And interestingly enough, unlike DVD, they were not digital discs reading off ones and zeros, rather they were analog. And so it was quite a bit trickier to manufacture these. They come in this record style case. I bought Airplane today for $2.50 in my record store, and that inspired me to find a record player, excuse me, a LaserDisc player locally and pick one up. Now, they're very, very large. This one has a little bit of disc decay, so it's a little fuzzier than it should be. And it's not a very, very highly, it's not a super high quality disc. The discs that are really, really well done, like the Star Wars series that were mastered in near HD with S-Video out back in the early 90s, those will run about $40 on eBay, and this one was $3 at my local record store. So you know that it's not great quality, especially considering that the movie was filmed, let's see if it says on here. Oh yeah, filmed in 1980, and it was put onto LaserDisc in, does it say? Oh yeah, 1991. There you go. So manufactured by Pioneer in 1991. It was printed in the USA. It's kind of cool. So this was made in the USA. And actually the LaserDisc player itself was made in the USA, so that's pretty cool. They're both older. This disc is actually older than the player. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this since I'm holding the... I just don't want to scratch it on the sleeve. And that's the problem with LaserDiscs, is they were super, super sensitive. So you could scratch them really, really easy. Now, this LaserDisc player is an automatic table, which means that the disc... Obviously, it's two-sided, right? Each side can hold 60 minutes of video. And you can see the ridges in this are much more significant than on a DVD. It's really quite a beautiful product. But anyway, as I was saying, there's actually a mechanism, and you'll hear the laser when I turn the thing on. It snaps into place, and it actually rolls on a track from the bottom of the disc to the top of the disc, so you don't have to reverse it, eject it, and turn it over halfway through the movie. There is a pause during the movie of about 2 minutes while the laser goes up. It's a very, very slow process, and that's why I'm going to start it now so I can keep explaining. But we put it down. That wasn't the best way to do it, but I'm one-handed. We press close. It closes slowly. And then you can see there's little LEDs here that indicate what the action is. I'm going to press play. You can hear it kind of snap into place. And then there's the ability to kind of pause and step one frame at a time, and then there's a scan. And then you can see LaserDisc there. There's the logo, had an IR remote, and yeah, pretty cool. It's already turning on. You can hear it kind of spinning up. It is going composite out, just your typical yellow, white, and red. This was one of the first players to have Pioneer's custom digital audio. It kind of predated optical audio. It looked like a coax out. but you needed a decoder before you sent it to your amplifier. But this had the best audio of its time, and in fact, it was even far superior to DVD. So a lot of artists made high-quality pressings of their album on, oh, you can see it's turning on, high-quality pressings of their album on LaserDisc, because until Blu-ray, digital audio didn't really sound superior to what you'd usually get. Now, what we have here is a little combo. It's actually a little converter that takes a composite in and puts it out to HDMI, and it's just powered by USB. I have a little battery since this is kind of just jerry-rigged. I don't really plan on leaving it hooked up for very long. But you can see the quality is, I mean, obviously it looks horrible. This is a 70-inch, this is my new 70-inch Vizio TV. It's the P series, the 4K series, which I really, really like, and it looks awesome. And I mean, this doesn't look very good by any means. It's kind of hard to display on video, but it actually does look quite superior to VHS, which I had the experience of watching a couple weeks ago, and it was miserable. I can't believe we were able to use that. So, I mean, it's not like DVD, but it's not terribly far off, and it looks much, much better than VHS. You can tell it's an older disc because there's pops, and that's not actually the film mark, but that's the decay in the disc itself. Again, since it's not digital, there can be disc decay. It looks fuzzy, or there's the little film pops. And obviously this, I mean, you're also going to get the imperfections in the film when it was recorded, because this was not an original, or this is not a remastered version that you'll find on Netflix of this film, which, by the way, this is one of my favorite films of all time. It's hilarious if you haven't seen it. But let me know in the video comments below if you'd like a more extensive video on the LaserDisc player and on LaserDisc technology as a whole, because I'd really be interested in making it if you guys are interested in seeing it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy.